Mic check, 1, 2. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday morning. It's the Friday morning Biff. Biff back with you again. Welcome into the channel. Uh, Hope everyone's doing well. Let's check our settings over here. What's going on with Twitch? Things look okay. Things look okay over here. So, today we were going to do I'm going to work on the setup for the first mission of the Normandy campaign in Fields of Fire. First, though, I'm going to look at some is there any deal stuff? Don't see. I put a few new things in here yesterday. Deluxe Town. I put in Steel Fury Kharkov, which is an older tank game. I guess it's supposed to be really good. But they are all the two that I've been looking at, Beam MG, NG, and Falcon Collection. They are both still full price, looks like. And other games that I'm following that aren't out yet. Espiocracy, Europa Universalis 5, I put that in there. Falling Frontier, Liegecraft, Star Wars Zero Company, and Tales of the Shire, which sounds as actually be a pretty relaxing game, pretty fun, relaxing game. So I don't see anything there on Is There Any Deal? So let's go to Steam. We can click on our discovery queue. We can look at some of that. All right, where is oh, dope. Here I am. I gotta go to the desktop capture screen. Here we go. Yeah, not really into like anime and stuff like that, so I'm probably just gonna ignore this one. Liquor Store Simulator. Open your own liquor store. Buy goods, manage your store, hire staff. Who knows? Maybe you will be able to make a real alcohol empire out of a small store. Interesting. Because like, what if you use the name champagne on a bottle? Because I think champagne is like a licensed name. It's licensed by the Champagne region of France, where the grapes are grown. And then I think if you're naming your whiskeys, you're naming your alcoholic beverage, if you have a name attached to it, then I don't know. I don't know if a company, it's Playway, interesting. I don't know if a company like Jack Daniels, if they would actually go after somebody like this and just say, you know what, go to a court and say, you know, their name is too close to our name and it diminishes our product or something like that. I don't know. I've got I've got I've got Supermarket Simulator. I'm gonna go real quick here into my download queue. This one, it's got a demo. I mean, I don't know. You know, one thing they need to simulate is breakage. Breakage. Because you're gonna have breakage. You're gonna have bottles broken. You're gonna lose product. They're probably not going to simulate that. It's probably going to be a very simple simulator. I think I'm just going to skip over it. Strategos or strategos. I think that word strategos is a Greek word. I think it was also used in Old World. I think when you were playing as the Greeks, Alexander or whatever, I think it means attack or battle, something like that. Simulate large-scale battles with over 120 factions, 250 units from the ancient world, create custom battles, or take command of historical ones. No user reviews. Oh, it's microprose. Oh, I gotta try it out. Add that to the library. Come over here and go into the library. And then just go into Strategos. And we will add that to our demos to play, which we most certainly will get to at some point. And then I'm going to download the update to Timberborn. I should just do update all, because these are going by pretty quick. Medieval, going medieval. New patch out for that. New patch out for Battle Brothers. New patch out for Crusader Kings, Old World. Geez, some of the games that I own. Old World, the Iron Roads demo, Mashinki, Supermarket Simulator, and Railroader. And I also have a little bit of a snackaroo here. With my coffee in a nice big thermos cup, which keeps my coffee very hot. Okay, Crusader Kings is done. We're going to download the Old World patch. That's Iron Road's demo. That one's done. Mashinki. Mashinki's a kind of cool train game. Train and transportation game. It's got some different concepts to it, but I like it. Supermarket Simulator. And Railroader. There are no downloads in the queue. All right. Let's look at a video. Hope it's not too loud. Cavalry. Wonder if there's any maneuver in the game, or if it's all just head-on combat. I wonder. Again, it's the idea that it's the idea that our ancestors lived through those conflicts so that we could be where we are today. World Alone, Dream Pools. Focused on dream-like liminal pools. The true essence of solitude. Okay. It's kind of the antithesis of what I'm about. Because one of the reasons I played World of Warcraft for so many years is because I enjoyed the social aspect of it. Small kobold garden. Cosmic Tempest. I had a plan. Have you ever heard about this? I had a plan as a tactical roguelite semi-auto battler set in a 3D world with 2D characters. I don't need that on because I'm not following the audio in that game. It's an auto battler. I've never played an auto battler. Could always try the demo. Let's go. I've never played an auto battler. I know what they are. Had 2 demos to play. The RPS game show. Tired of losing at luck-based games? Yeah, time to redeem yourself. The RPS game show. If you win, you can still lose. If you lose, you can still win. Rock, paper, scissors. The RPS game show? Sounds... Oh. That's how you win if you lose. Archaeology. Grass farm. Name of the genre that finds the hidden object. A game of the genre, find the hidden object. $200? Come on, Steam. I mean, come on, Steam. Okay? Steam, this is ridiculous. I mean, I was listening again. Oh, by the way, the Historical Gamer podcast has a new they have a new podcast out. It's called Single Malt Strategy. Single Malt Strategy. They have a new podcast out, and invariably in their podcast, they wind up talking about stuff like this and stuff like companies that will put out, they will create a video of what was one of the games that they were talking about? They will put out a video. Game companies will put out a video, and there'll be like no release date, none of that information, but they'll put out a video with some screenshots to try to gauge interest in a game like that. And they encourage you to wish list it if it looks interesting to you. But the thing is that the game's not in development yet. It's not in the pipeline. They're just trying to gauge how many people would like to see a game like this. And I guess then they throw something together and they release it. And that's just bad, I think, for the whole gaming industry. Because, if the game doesn't get enough people wish listing it, it just goes away. And then other people come back and go, where's that game that I wish listed? It was on my wish list. Now it's not there. And it just disappears. And you're like this here. $200. I mean, come on, Steam. Why are you allowing a company to put this game on here? It's almost like you're like, well, let the buyer beware. No, let you beware. You are the retailer. Don't put stuff up. You are the retailer, okay? You're not just a facilitator of getting these games on here. You're the retailer. You're selling these games to people, Steam. So look at, don't let companies do this kind of stuff. Okay? This game, I can almost guarantee you, none of these people paid $200 for this game. None of them. I mean, give me a break. Oh, I needed to ignore that. Let me go back to the store. We're gonna look at archaeology. Archaeology. What was it? Grass farm. Includes 12 games. It said $84. Includes 12 games. Oh, here we go. So $84 for 12 games about archaeology. That's $6 each. Yeah. But this one by itself, it doesn't say that this is a bundle. This is the bundle down here. This one's $200. Ignore that. I'm going to ignore every game in the bundle. I mean, give me a break. See that for me, that's Google's responsibility. It's their responsibility to keep that junk um, out of their store. Let's see. Oh, there's a new tutorial for Railroader. Interesting. Okay, we're not going to need Steam. I will leave Twitch open. And I will close the other tabs to the right. We have Fields of Fire up here. There it is. We are going into Vassal. We've already set up the new game. Let's go back to Fields of Fire. And we're going to go to the Normandy campaign. We're going to scroll it back. I did print a so they have interesting. Now, why wouldn't you? Oh, here we go. Here's the table of contents. Okay. Missions. Here's all the missions. We're going to start with Travere's Offensive. U.S. unit breakdown, German unit breakdown. Now, I don't know. I'm looking at the Travere's Offensive. Well, let's just go through. It tells us the game components that we need. We'll start with going through the historical notes. I'm going to leave this up while I go to the bathroom. And then if you guys want to look at it and read it over, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Then I'll be right back. And we'll take a look at this and we'll go into start. I've got Vassal, a new game, Normandy Campaign Mission 1 set up. So we're going to start setting it up, and then we'll go from there. I'll be right back. Doke, I'm back. Thanks for giving me a break. Appreciate it. Let's see. Here is the mission starts on 16, but we're going to look through some of this here. Historical notes. Your mission: to close with the enemy by means of fire and maneuver. Right there. In order to destroy or capture him or repel his assaults by fire, close combat, and counterattack. That's from the U.S. Army Field Manual FM 7-10, the Infantry Rifle Company. The 9th U.S. Infantry Regiment, the Manchus. Was first formed in January 1799 in Maryland and disbanded in 1800. Only a year, huh? It was reformed from March 1812 through March 1815, serving in action at York, Fort George, Sackett's Harbor, Chrysler's Field, Fort Erie, and Chippewa River. The regiment was reformed again in April 1847 for the Mexican War, during which it served at Padimia, Churubusco, Chapultepec. During the storming of Chapultepec, the regimental commander, Colonel Truman Ransom, was killed. The regiment was again disbanded in 1848. Reconstituted for the last time in 1855, the 9th was shipped west. It appears that it was mostly integrated with the 18th Infantry and was credited during the Civil War with service at Murfreesboro, Chickamauga, Chattanooga, and Atlanta. After the Civil War, the 9th headed further west, where it participated in the Little Bighorn Campaign. Service in the West continued until 1892, and then the regiment was moved to Madison Barracks, New York. Its next action was in 1898. So at this point, it's been around for 100 years, on and off. When the regiment went to Cuba, landing at Siboney on June 24th, 1898, the 9th participated in the storming of San Juan Hill on July 1st, 1898. That's the battle, I think, where Teddy Roosevelt was involved, then to be president at some point. The regiment then returned to Madison Barracks, but only for 6 months before it was off to the Philippines to deal with the insurrection. The 9th fought at Luzon over a year until the rebels finally surrendered in their area. Excuse me. Trouble then erupted in China, the Boxer Rebellion. 2 U.S. regiments, the 9th and the 14th, were dispatched to join the effort to protect U.S. interests there. On July 13, 1900, the 9th assaulted Tientsin. In a desperate action, the regimental commander, Colonel Emerson Liscombe, was mortally wounded. As he lay dying, he exhorted the men to keep up the fire. Colonel Liscombe's final words became the regimental motto. The 9th was the first unit to fight its way into the forbidden city of Peking. For this, the regiment was awarded the honorary title of Manchus. The other regiment, the 14th, was given the title of Golden Dragons, which, like Manchus, is still in use today. After the Boxers were defeated in 1901, the 9th returned to the Philippines and fought insurgents on the island of Samar until May 1902, after which the Manchus returned home. When the U.S. entered World War I in 1917, the 9th began its association with the 2nd Infantry Division, Indian Head. In October 1917, the Manchus went into the line and earned battle streamers for, I don't know how to pronounce these. In 1918, the regiment was awarded the French Fourragère for gallantry during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. I don't want to mispronounce these and then I say something nasty or something. Following World War I, the 9th returned to Texas and rotated among posts there until World War II. In October 1942, the 9th moved to Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, for intensive training for a year before sailing to Ireland and then mainland Great Britain. The Manchus landed at Omaha Beach on D-Day +1, June 7, 1944. The 9th participated in 5 campaigns with 3 major combat actions: the Normandy Campaign, the storming of Brest, and the Battle of the Bulge, including a Medal of Honor for a bazooka gunner who would not quit. The Manchus ended the war just outside of Pilsen, Czechoslovakia. The 9th earned 3 Presidential Unit citations, returning to the U.S. in July of 1945. So they were gone for a whole year. World War II, Normandy, France, 8 June to 16 August 1944. World War II Infantry Regiment Organization. The infantry regiment was commanded by a colonel. It had 3 infantry battalions, a headquarters, and headquarters company, a light cannon company of 6 light 105 millimeter howitzers, a service company, and a medical company. The infantry battalion was commanded by a lieutenant colonel. It had 3 rifle companies, Hey, Shroom, what's going on? Welcome back. The infantry battalion had 3 rifle companies, an HHC, and a weapons company. That's got to be a heavy something company. I'm not sure. The weapons company had a mortar platoon of 4 81 millimeter mortars, 2 heavy machine gun platoons of 4 M1917A1 30 caliber heavy machine guns each, and an anti-armor platoon of 3 57 millimeter towed anti-tank guns. Yeah. Well, I gotta get it set up. I've got the so I've got the display of the campaign thing. Let's see, which way do I gotta go? This way. So I've got this printed out, but I need a clipboard. I need to get some hole punches in here, and then figure out how to fill it out. I might have to watch a YouTube video for that. I've got a binder. I've got a binder which I might be able to use. It's got a hard thing on here. I might be able to put it in the binder and use that. But I was just at Target the other day, and I was actually looking at clipboards for my daughter for some of her school stuff, some other stuff that we want to do. But I didn't buy one. I should have bought 2 of them. So, yeah, just reading the, this is the Normandy campaign. Just reading the introduction to it. Okay. All right. The rifle company, CO, was commanded by a captain. It had 3 rifle platoons, a headquarters platoon, and a weapons platoon. The weapons platoon had a mortar section of 3 60 millimeter mortars, a light machine gun section of 2 M1919 A4 30 caliber light machine guns. That's interesting. The heavy machine guns were also 30 caliber. So last night when I was finishing up that keep up the fire scenario, a mission, it called for a German heavy machine gun package to be put out on the board, on the map. And all the German heavy machine guns were only A automatic fire rated. They weren't H rated. So I don't know. Anyways, in an anti-armor section of 3 bazookas. 2 jeeps with trailers transported weapons and ammo and could provide anti-aircraft support by attaching a 50 caliber heavy machine gun. Okay, there's a 50 caliber. The rifle platoon was led by a second lieutenant and a sergeant first class. It had 3 rifle squads and was the primary maneuver element of a rifle company. The rifle squad was led by a staff sergeant. Oh, okay. So squads are led by sergeants. Platoons are led by lieutenants. Okay, it had 12 soldiers at full strength. That's what I thought. That's from Squad Leader. I mean, it's not from Squad Leader, but Squad Leader also said that historically squads had 12 soldiers when they were at full strength. But in action, the squads typically hovered around 6 to 9 soldiers because of casualties. So it was rare for a squad to be at full strength. It was rare for a platoon to be at full strength. It was rare for a company even to be at full strength. There was always going to be casualties. This rifle squad had one M1918. It is very cool. It had one M1918 Browning automatic rifle, and the rest had the M1 Garand rifle, one of which was fitted with the rifle grenade attachment. Okay. In action, a wider variety of weapons could be found, including Thompson submachine guns and M1 carbines. Captured weapons tended not to be used as their distinctive sounds could draw friendly fire. Ah, that's interesting. Somebody forgot a period at the end of this. Right there. Friendly fire, full stop. Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know the reason they didn't use captured weapons was because their distinctive sounds, a squad, 100 feet away could hear a German machine gun and start opening fire on them. And, their guys are calling out, no, 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 it's us. We've captured a weapon. And then their second lieutenant saying, do not use that captured weapon. The 9th Infantry Regiment was organized as follows. Colonel Chester J. Hirschfield, commanding. Colonel Hirschfield earned 2 Distinguished Service Cross Awards, commanding the Manchus during the Normandy campaign, to go with the first award he earned in World War I. Cool. So he was commanded by a colonel. So the Manchus were commanded by Chester J. Hirschfield. Headquarters and headquarters company, service company, anti-tank company, cannon company. First Battalion commander was Lieutenant Colonel H.K. Wesson, commanding, killed October 15th, 1944. Rifle companies, Abel, Baker, and Charlie. Should call him that in the game. I think heavy weapons companies, 8 heavy machine guns, 4 81 millimeter mortars, and D. I don't know what that is. 2nd Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Walter M. Higgins, commanding. Rifle companies Easy, Fox, and George. And Heavy Weapons Company H. Oh, the Heavy Weapons Company was Dog, and was made up of 8 heavy machine guns and 4 81 millimeter mortars. Heavy Weapons Company Howe. So they all had rifle companies and heavy weapon companies. 3rd Battalion was Lieutenant Colonel P.V. Tuttle, commanding. Rifle companies Item King Love and Heavy Weapons Company Mike. Those are the 3 infantry battalions of the Manchus. 9th Infantry Cannon Company manned their M3 105 millimeter howitzer. This is a infantry gun, so it fires high explosive shells. The 2nd Infantry Division was organized as follows. The division consisted of the 9th, 23rd, and 38th Infantry Regiments. So the 9th are the Manchus. For support, the division had the 12th, 155 millimeter, and 15th, 37th, and 38th, all 105 millimeter. These were 155, these are 105, field artillery battalions, with the 15th, Lieutenant Colonel Cassabri, commanding, being in direct support of the 9th. The division also had a combat engineer and recon company, and in addition, the U.S. 5th Corps had many other field artillery battalions available. Armored support came from the 741st Tank Battalion, Lieutenant Colonel Robert W. Skaggs commanding, and the 612th Tank Destroyer Battalion with Lieutenant Colonel Joseph M. Dealey commanding. Each armored battalion had 3 companies of 17 vehicles, M4 Shermans. So 51 tanks. And again, usually under the companies would not be complete. The battalions would not be complete. There'd all be tanks knocked out, tanks being serviced, all that stuff. The tank destroyer battalions were designated as self-propelled, with M10 tank destroyers for the 612th or towed, the 76 millimeter anti-tank guns. Air defense was provided by the 462nd AAA Battalion. This is anti-air. Not sure. Lieutenant Colonel Norman R. Stultz commanding, equipped with 3 batteries of quad 50 caliber guns. 2nd Infantry Division participated in 5 campaigns, spent 337 days in action, and covered 1,750 miles from Omaha Beach to Pilsen. It suffered 15,066 battle casualties, including 3,000 killed, of which 879 were Manchus. Wow. And almost 11,000 wounded. So actually at almost 900 here, the Manchus actually suffered, proportionally, they suffered less casualties, not by much, than the other battalions in the division. Oh no, they're not a battalion, they're a regiment. Yeah. So they suffered a little bit below. So the average killed in each battalion or each regiment was 1,000. So this probably can come down to like leadership. 2nd Infantry Division Normandy Campaign timeline. June 7th began landing. Up here. July 11th and 12th, Hill 192. Offensive. June 13th and 25th. German Saint Germain Delacroix Rouge Les Solaire offensive, Solaire or defensive, July 26th, August 7th, Veer offensive, August 8th, August 16th, Tinchebray offensive. So all the way down here. So they went that far under combat, under fire in June 7th to August 8th, basically 2 months. It was a total of 70 days in the line. In contact with the enemy, the division was given 4 days rest and recovery before being committed to the Brest offensive. 70 days in the line and then 4 days off. It's like Sherman said, war is hell. The Travers, and I don't know if I'm going to mispronounce stuff. In fact, there was a point earlier where I was like, I didn't want to try to pronounce any of the names of places because I didn't want to pronounce it wrong, and it turned out to be something nasty or something rude or, you know. The Travers strong point was the first action for the Manchus in Normandy. The position was held by elements of the German 352nd Infantry Division Anti-Tank Battalion with 3 batteries of PaK-40 75mm guns, and the 517th Battalion of the 84th, Corps, 30th Schnell Brigade, Mobile Brigade. This was a light infantry battalion moving, it appears, by bicycle. The other 2 battalions of the 30th Brigade went off to face the British. Oh, this is the Germans faced off against the British. There may also have been elements of 2nd Division, 915th Infantry, 352nd Infantry Division, as well as some of the Divisional Pioneer Combat Engineer Battalion. Artillery support was provided by 2nd 1352 Artillery, 10.5 centimeters. These units were made up of Eastern Front veterans and replacements and thus were good quality troops. German Army squads were built around the MG-42 machine gun, the infamous Spandau, which gave the Germans a substantial firepower advantage at the small unit level. They also were liberally supplied with ammunition. In terms of contrast, the typical U.S. company in Normandy had 2 machine guns versus a German company with 14 machine guns. Wow. U.S. troops had to make up for the shortfall with artillery and tank support. My understanding is they had to, the barrels on these were interchangeable, and they had to often put a new barrel in and let the other one cool down because they overheated so fast because there was such a rate of fire coming out of it. The deliberately flooded Our Valley made tank support difficult. The initial attack of the Manchus was not successful. The Our had to be forded on foot, and casualties and supplies had to be carried by hand back and forth over the river. That would be here somewhere. Maybe here. No, this is probably a national border here, looks like. Not sure. The Manchus did ultimately secure a foothold in the town with a better support attack on the second day, and the 2nd Infantry Division then pushed through the Foret de Circe. There was concern that the forested area would be a natural defensive position, but the Germans were organizing a new defensive line just to the south of the forest. U.S. planners did not realize the defensive strength of the bocage terrain in that area. A medic tends to a wounded soldier. As Travers fell, the first elements of the 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division began to arrive. There was not enough motor transport available to move the division, so one battalion from each German regiment, the 5th, 8th, and 9th, went ahead with the Flak Battalion. 3 batteries of 88mm anti-air guns, the Anti-Tank Battalion, 3 batteries of 75mm anti-tank guns. I said anti-air here, right? Yeah, anti-air, anti-tank, and the Seoul Artillery Battalion, the 1st of the 3rd 105th millimeter artillery. Each regiment and battalion had a Schwer company, a heavy weapons company, and that also added more machine guns, mortars, both 81 millimeter and 120 millimeter, and infantry guns, both 75 millimeter and 105 millimeter. The German Fallschirmjägers, paratroopers, were well organized for this type of fighting. Their companies were more powerful and more independent than their army counterparts. The Germans put a high premium on independent leaders who could think on their feet, who didn't always need to have an order given to them to do something. They were the German, like lieutenants and captains and stuff, were probably the best in the war. Just because that's how they were trained. They were trained to think on their feet, do what needed to be done to resolve a situation. Platoons. Each had an officer as a leader, while in contrast, Army companies had NCOs as platoon leaders. Each squad was built around 2 MG-42s, but as the MG-42s were in short supply, many squads may have had just one. The 3rd Fallschirmjäger Division reported that it had only 70% of its MG-42s, but had 6 basic loads of ammunition available at the start of the campaign. Each company had its own 81mm mortar section, which helped fill a critical shortfall in fire support available. The machine gun nest, mortar, and Panzerfaust combination proved to be a difficult challenge for the Manchus. The Fallschirmjägers had trained in guerrilla tactics, excelling at small unit defense. But the critical shortage of motor transport and artillery hurt their ability to react to U.S. moves. And of course, not that anything in war is easy, but it's always easier to defend than to attack. And the Germans were on the defensive from D-Day until the end of the war. I mean, they went on the attack in the Battle of the Bulge, but that was an ill-conceived attack that wasn't going to work anyways. U.S. firepower was decisive against the well-trained and deeply entrenched Germans. A letter written on 24 July, taken from the body of Gefreiter Helmut Kaschlake of the 9th Fallschirmjäger Regiment holding Hill 92, described the difficulties. So unfortunately, taken from the body most likely means that this person did not make it through that battle. We were stationed in Brittany near Brest. When the invasion started, we moved out approximately 30 to 40 kilometers, which is going to be what, like 18 to 24 miles. We moved out approximately that distance daily, but only at night. There in the day, the American fighter bombers controlled the area. We were put into line east of St. Lo, approximately 5 kilometers away from the town. 5 kilometers is going to be, what, 3 miles? When we were committed, our company strength was 170. Then the 11th July arrived, and the most terrible and gruesome day of my life. At 0300, our company sector got a dense hail of arty and mortar fire. We thought the world was coming to an end. In addition to the rumbling of motors and rattling, the rumbling of motors and rattling could be heard in the enemy lines. Tanks. It scared the pants off of us. we could expect a very juicy attack. If we thought that the arty fire had reached its climax, we were disillusioned at 0530. At that time, a tremendous firing started, then continued to 0615. Then tanks arrived. The movement of tanks, however, is somewhat difficult here in Normandy, as we have our fields fenced in by wire and wooden fences. The fields over here are lined with hedgerows. Oh, as we have our fields fenced in by wire and wooden fences, the fields over here are lined with hedgerows. They are about 5 feet high and have the same thickness. These hedgerows are winding crisscross through the terrain. We dig in behind these walls, and Americans do the same. It is a regular hedgerow war. Well, on that 11 July, the tanks were rolling toward us. They shot with their guns through the hedgerows as through cake dough. Sharpshooters gave us lots of trouble. Around 1000 hours, the order came to withdraw, as the position could not be held. I had one wounded in my machine gun position. When I wanted to get him into position with the help of someone else, a shell landed 2 yards away from us. The wounded fellow got another piece of shrapnel in his side, and the other fellow was also wounded. I, however, did not get one piece of shrapnel from 2 yards away. A piece of shrapnel penetrated through the leather strap of my machine gun and was thus diverted from my chest. In this way, I could name many instances. So it sounds like he avoided injury until this letter was found on his body. Where's that? Sorry. Yeah, right down. Until this letter that was written on 24 July was found on the body of this soldier that's writing this. In this way, I could name many instances. At 11:35, I left the platoon sector as last man, carrying my machine gun through the enemy lines into a slightly more protected defile, and crept back again with another fellow to get the wounded. It was time to get them. The tanks were moving 30 yards from us. On our way back, we were covered again with terrific arty fire. We were just lying in an open area. Every moment I expected deadly shrapnel. At that moment, I lost my nerves. The others acted just like me. When one hears for hours the whining, whistling, and bursting of shells, and the moaning and groaning of the wounded, one does not feel too well. Altogether, it was hell. Our company has only 30 men left. We expect a new attack supported by tanks today or tomorrow. Started with 170. When they were first committed, their company strength 170. They lost down to 30. They lost 150 roughly, so they lost 5, 6. They lost what? I'm trying to calculate this out. They lost a lot. As the Manchus pushed forward inch by inch, the German paratroopers received little support. The 15th Regiment of the 5th Fallschirmjäger Division was committed from reserve to slow the U.S. advance. The paratroopers hotly contested the ground, but U.S. tank infantry teams, supported by hundreds of artillery pieces, slowly pushed them back. In this phase of the battle, the time-on-target artillery technique, coupled with close cooperation with tanks, both learned in the difficult fighting of the previous weeks, turned the tide. So we can always Google this. So I guess we're going to be getting tanks at some point here in the future. Here's the Normandy. That's the introduction to the Normandy campaign for Fields of Fire. Normandy campaign unit guide, 9th Infantry units. We got the CO, the XO. We got 1st Sergeant. We got 1st Platoon, headquarters, squads. Light machine gun teams, 50 cal, heavy machine gun. I think the 50 cal is what? So see that the American heavy machine guns used a water-cooled version. So there's a jacket of water around the barrel. I don't think the German heavy machine gun might have had that, but I'm pretty sure the MG42, like I said, they used um, interchangeable barrels. So when a barrel overheated, they could take it off and then put a new barrel on. So they, I guess, machine gun teams would carry like, I don't know, half a dozen barrels and just switch them out. Bazooka mortar section, runners, tanks, regiment brigade and brigade battalion commander, infantry, 10 men. German infantry were made up of 10 squads were made up of 10 men, centered around the MG42 light machine gun, bolt action rifles and submachine guns. Panzerfaust light disposable anti-tank rockets were often also carried. Fallschirmjäger squads were often armed with FG-42 automatic rifles. Let's see, I've been streaming for an hour. I think I'm going to take a break here in a couple minutes, maybe just make some more coffee. Panzerschreck was a German version of the bazooka with a range of under 100 meters. It was most useful when fired at the side or rear armor of tanks. Anti-tank guns, including the infamous 88. It was an 8.8 centimeter Flak 36 anti-aircraft cannon that also proved itself adept in the anti-tank role. Okay. The U.S. Company Table of Organization and Equipment. The following is your starting company for the campaign. If you play a mission in isolation, you will use this company. I think this is what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to start a campaign yet. I want to play the first mission a couple of times. On different maps, of course, but just to kind of get a feel for the radios, tracking ammo, which I know I'm just going to make tons of mistakes on all this. We have a Jeep, the pyrotechnics, because I think there's pyrotechnics available. Yeah, see, you've got smoke available. Following assets are available in every mission. Replace automatically between missions if lost. And then, yeah, if you play a mission in isolation. So I think what I'd like to do is just play this mission and kind of get a feel for it. Maybe play it twice. Get a feel for tracking experience, tracking ammunition, tracking losses, captures, all that stuff. The following table details the experience points awarded depending on mission type. Both sides take prisoners. No runners are available at the start of the mission. If required, they must be created during play from existing units. Replacements receive up to 6 green replacement steps after completing each mission, plus any returning veteran steps. Casualty evacuation, place a CC casualty collection point tactical control anywhere on the map before each mission begins, or set one during play for evacuation of casualties. So if you set one during play, I believe it requires the company or a staff officer to one order to place a casualty collection point. Grenades. Both U.S. and German grenade attacks use -4 VOF. Coffee. Yes. I'm just, I know some people don't like coffee because they don't like bitter. Um, I might, I might get that later. I've got another mouse pad that my wife bought for me a long time ago, and it's long. And the reason that I took it down, I might put it up. The reason I took it down is because I was using it's kind of cool. It's kind of got a little bit of a almost like a oh, was I reading that whole time in full screen? Was I reading? No. No, I wasn't. Anyways, this is what it looks like. It's a Corsair. It's like 3 feet long, 3.5 feet long, something like that. I know I had Adobe Reader open up there. I don't know when I switched it over. But I know, I'm pretty sure. Tell me, Shroom, did I have my full screen up there the whole time that I was reading this? Because if I did, that's really sad. I thought I had this open so you guys could see it. Okay, well, see, the thing is, well, I don't want people necessarily to complain, like be mean about it, but I want people to tell me, hey, um, even if they're going to message me like on, they're going to message me on like, maybe subconsciously I'm looking for feedback, and that's why I do it subconsciously. You know, I just want some feedback on Twitter or X or on YouTube or something. I want people to give me feedback like, hey, I couldn't see what you were reading because you had your full screen camera up there, dude. Yeah, this is nice. I like this because the mouse is just lays flat. And this can come over here. Yeah, I know it was open, and at some point I flipped it, and I don't know when I flipped it. And so I apologize for that. Um, let's see. So it shows our units here, what we have available. Huh, maybe people wouldn't mind. They're probably like, get to the game, get to the game. People that are watching me. See, this is going to be interesting to do during the campaign. The company headquarters is green, so they get one less order. The company executive officer is green. He gets one less order. The company first sergeant is veteran. He gets one more order. It's going to be interesting trying to remember that. I guess the company HQ, you can always set them. You can set that marker on their counter. You can set it to the experience level. It looks like everybody else is the platoon HQs are green, but the squads are line. I wonder if it'd be best to play this in Vassal or in Tabletop Simulator. Why was I going back to Tabletop Simulator? Because actually, Tabletop Simulator actually has this, and it has this, and it's got you can actually fill these out in Tabletop Simulator. So it's got you can just click on a section here and you can input information. to keep track of everything. I might look at that for doing it in Tabletop Simulator. Okay, we have other assets. We've got the pyrotechnics, we've got the rifle grenades, one per platoon. These are experience points that we'll get. We're going through the special rules, communications. The SCR 536 radios making up the company TAC network may be replaced by EE8 field phones in each offensive mission. 4 phone lines are provided as assets in each mission if phones are used. Other networks remain on radios. Phones are not available for combat patrols. In some mission, the option to mount the RD FDNet SCR 610 radio in a Jeep may be available. It can only carry a single step. Okay. Missions, 60 millimeter mortar section. Choose either the 60 millimeter mortar section or the individual one-step mortar teams. If teams are chosen, the section radio phone can be reassigned to any other company unit or attachment freely. During combat, F or A hits results on the mortar section will reduce affected steps to one-step mortar team as per the breakdown chart on the back of this mission book. If only one step remains, place a one-step mortar team. On breakdown, each mortar team receives the same amount of mortar ammo as the section carried. Ammo is not divided as the number of rounds represented by a single ammo point is much less for a single G-rated mortar team than a whole H-rated section. See Rulebook Section 7.18.1b. The 60 millimeter mortar section cannot be split voluntarily during a mission. Mortar teams cannot reconstitute into mortar section during a mission. One-step mortar teams begin each mission with more ammunition than they can transport by themselves. Other units will need to be utilized to transport ammo if the mortar teams move. The HVOF-rated mortar section utilizes abstracted ammo bearers. So the difference between these is that this mortar section here, they need a line of sight. This one here can actually have fire. It can put down fire based on, like, if there's a platoon leader with a radio, and then there's a first sergeant with this mortar section, and the platoon leader has line of sight to a unit, then he can call back to the first sergeant that has this mortar section with him, and he can call for, gosh, man, darn it. What am I doing? Let's go back up here. These are campaign special rules. You can use the phones or the radios. And then you get a Jeep. You can put an RD forward observer into a Jeep, and the Jeep can only carry a single step. The mortar sections, like I was just babbling about without you guys being able to see this, because there's more assets. Here's the pyrotechnics, the Jeep. Here's the squads I was showing you. The company headquarters and the XO are both green. The sergeant's veteran. All of the platoon leaders are green. So they're going to get one less order when we draw orders. So it's going to be important to keep them in cover because they're going to have one less order. As I was saying, these steps, the one-step mortar team, they need a line of sight to their target. The mortar section can fire indirect, which means that, as I was saying, you could have a uh, platoon leader in on a card with a radio, and he could be contacting a sergeant or an XO or the company HQ, like 2 cards back. Well, actually, it'd have to be 1 card because this one only has long range. So he could be contacting the card behind him, where this mortar section, he could be contacting them to have them put fire down on the card in front of the platoon leader. I'll try to explain it better when we get this going. They can fire indirect. They don't need a line of sight. They just need to get an order from a unit that has line of sight to the target card. These need line of sight to the target card. And this is also H. So this is probably going to be like a -4 or -5. I believe these are -3. Actually, these are -4 because the special, the order said that it was, the rule said it was -4. German squads. They're equipped with MG-42 machine guns. You must track ammo for these units. Each mission, check the enemy details box to determine if you face Grenadier or Fallschirmjäger squads. Select the appropriate set of counters and put the others aside. Okay, select the appropriate set of counters. Refer to the charts on the back of the mission book to see how the different squads break down in combat. As noted on the chart, when the second step of an A VOF rated Fallschirmjäger squad takes a F hit, draw an action card. Okay, I think I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go and start up Steam. And I want to start Tabletop Simulator. I think Tabletop Simulator has better let me check this out. I think Tabletop Simulator has better yeah, so you can see here in Tabletop Simulator, they've got campaign information here. They've got German force packages here. They've got the Traverse Offensive mission book here that gives you the details about that specific mission. Enemy at higher HQ events. Let me see on the cards though. What can you do when you click on a card? I think on the cards, basically, you have to pull, like, you have to pull, that's why they have them over here. This isn't the same one. So let me go back and try to find. Let me potential contact system to assault course. Okay. So they have the these here, and I believe you can actually change these. Maybe not. Okay. Maybe they're just there for you to print if you want to print them. Here's the action deck. There's this R to shuffle. They've got all the counters over here. They got all these over here. They've got I was gonna say uh this up here we can move down. They've got all the counters up here. But I wanted to pull out a card and just see a terrain card. Okay, let's see. Here's Normandy. And see what type of thing we can do on the terrain card if we right click. You can place a VOF, place a PDF, place an incoming, place a VOF, and then you can change the state of the VOF. You can change, put a cover, sniper grenades. It does have a cleanup phase right here. Yeah, it is kind of weird to include them in here. I thought I saw in a video of by the guys that designed this where they were actually putting like numbers and stuff in here. Right click. Normandy logbook. That's the name of it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they put it in here so that you could just print it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw them either doing this with I have to go back and look at the video. Because I don't know, but I think they might have been tracking experience also on one of these things. Now this, so it's the same on both sides. Yeah, it's the same on both sides. Top box, unit experience. Left box, current step stack. Step current status. Status after reconstitution. Oh, example. Yeah, I don't know how to I'm not sure. Anyways, I think also you can come down here and you can say there was something about where you could click on next mission. Okay, set up mission. So let's put this one. How do you set? Can you send this one back? Of course, I would want to lock this. I would want to lock the card so I don't drag them randomly. It's kind of neat though that if you put this down here, it drags the counter with it. Reset, custom toggles tag. Oh, here we go. Delete. Delete. Does this tell us that we can see? That's one of the things I don't like about this one though, this module, is that you have to zoom so far out in order to get down to the bottom of the in order to get down to the bottom of the menu. But I think you can do this, set up mission. Vietnam, no. No. That's the other thing. How do you select a mission? It should give you a drop down that lets you select the mission, right? Where's the mission? How do you select the mission? Because that mission book is gone now. Skills purchased for next mission. Game notes. Where do you select the next mission? That mission book is gone. It seems, again, it would seem like it would just let you right click here and select the mission that you want to use. Okay, well, let's go back here and go back to 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 here. Go back to here. And go back to here. Heartbreak Ridge. Maybe this is the mission that it's selected. Oh, okay. Attempt 4. And use pieces, add a Korea. I think I should probably use Vassal. I think I should probably use Vassal because it's going to take me a while to figure this out. And I already know Vassal. And it's like every time you go into Tabletop Simulator, you're doing you're basically learning a new game. Let me see if I can get back over to Vassal here. There it is. Set this up over here. Go back to Adobe. So now I guess with the enemy force packages. Okay, enemy packages are limited by the counter mix. So that means there are 4 machine guns in the counter mix. We go back to the unit pieces. There's 4 light machine guns. 5 light machine guns. So the most light machine guns that you could pull would be 5. There's 4 heavy machine guns, etc., etc., etc. Now there are only 3 mortar spotters. So once you've now again, it just seems to me that once you've eliminated 3 mortar spotters, then you can't use this package anymore. Mortar spotters have 2 missions and draw 4 cards for the second mission. Any arty spotters have 2 missions, draw 3 cards for the second mission. A-rated squads have 6 ammo each. So I'm going to have to use this to track ammo. And I don't really, I'm going to have to look at, how to do that. So I guess, like I said, once you go through the 4 light machine guns, then this would not be available anymore, this package. Once you've used all 4 squads, then you wouldn't be able to use a package that has a squad in it, etc., etc. Well, let's set up the map. And get the map set up. We can get the well, let's set up the command display. We have a company HQ, EXO, First Sergeant. Okay, so we're going to take the command display. We have the company HQ, which is green. The platoon leaders are green. I'm just going to put them on here to remind me that they're green, so that when I draw, I know I have to draw 1 less command. Are they all green? We'll find out here in just a second. Green, green. First Sergeant's veteran. Okay. But the platoon commanders are all green. But the First Sergeant is a veteran. Good. He's a V for veteran. Okay. So those are set up. everyone else's line. Everyone else's line. So I think we want to do is set up the map and then bring these out. And then once we bring them out, we can set up the rest of the we can set up the rest of this. So let's bring this over here. Zoom in. I usually zoom in this far. Actually, I zoom out first to this point, and then what I do is I start doing cards. Campaigns is going to be Normandy. So this is what we have for Normandy. Actually, I'm going to leave these on here. I'll put the map out first. We're going to first put down the staging area. And that is what? Four per row and then 3 columns. So we're going to put down 4. I think I'm going to put them closer to each other this time. Zoom in a little bit. I want to make sure that I have enough room. I want to make sure I have enough room over here for the action cards. And also for if I need to, actually I might do these. So I have enough room if I need to put in stuff that's outside of the right boundary and left boundary. Okay, so I think I might start then by actually putting down random terrain. Okay, so it's not hidden. It's all random. So I can just start drawing cards. So let's see. So 1, 2, 3. If I zoom in, two. I kind of want it to be tighter than last time. Last time I had like big gaps between these, which doesn't need to be there. At least I think you want to have some room between the cards from top to bottom if you have to place a hill or something. But otherwise, if they're like this, they can be kind of like snug right up against each other. Maybe not that snug. Maybe not that far apart. Maybe like that. So that way we've got enough to add potentially, there's a hill here. And so you want to see if there's a 2-level hill behind it for a machine gun, something like that. There's enough room to put cards out there. And then there's also enough room to zoom in and get it, you got the bird's eye view. You got the down on the ground view. All right, so here, Yeah, I like to start building from the top down. If I build, I mean, you can always build from the bottom up, but and then you can just grab all the cards and move them, around together. But this way, like I said, I know I've got room here to go up, like at least 2 cards. So if I did, so I got a hill there. I got one here. I got room to go up another one here. So we have a hill. So I'm going to put this one up here. And I do want to have the hill available. I want to be able to see this symbol right here. Another hill. Interesting. These cards did get shuffled, right? Game? I got an orchard on top of a double hill. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll set this up. I can go back in there. What I need to find out with that uh, mod though is what you're supposed to be able to do is you you click on what scenario do you want to play, and it just automatically lays all the terrain cards out there. It pulls all of your units that you're going to need. It may not put them right on the map, but it will pull them out so that you've got them all right there. That's technically the level of automation that it's supposed to have, that I haven't been able to figure out yet, obviously. So now, yeah, I definitely want to know that there's a hill up here. Because when I was playing yesterday, there was a point I forgot that there was a hill up here because the card looked like this. It was just barely visible behind it. So I want to have this visible. So you can see, yep, there's a hill there. And then, yep, there's a hill here. Oh, this one's in front of this one. So I got to put this one here. I got Okay, let's leave that one there. Put this one behind here. And put this one in front of here. Okay. Double hill. Nice. And that's right at the top of the if the Germans get a machine gun team in here, yeah, it could be all over. There's another hill. What kind of train's going to be on that hill? Open fields. Good for me. This is just, where are all these hills coming from? Well, I mean, it makes sense that there's a hill next to a hill, right? Makes sense there's a hill next to this hill. All right. So at least these are bees up here. I hope I don't get any more hills. This terrain deck seems hill happy. A gully draw. A gully draw. Gosh, this is really bad. What? Is this thing even? My understanding is there's no way to shuffle this. So my understanding is like every time you open this, every time you open this, this gets shuffled. This is just really kind of strange. This is just kind of strange. I guess. Just weird. There's another farm. There's a hedgerow. Let's see if another hedgerow comes up. There's another farm. You see this, Shroom? You see this map that I pulled? Marsh, woods, orchard on top of a double hill, open fields on top of a hill, gully, 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 farm, farm, hedgerow, farm, hedgerow. That's, gosh, man, to me, that's like with that, the keep up the fire scenario, where like for the first 8 or 9 turns, I got like the same 3 German packages, German enemy packages. I got the same 3 for like 7, 8 turns in a row. And then like turn 9 and turn 10, I got different packages. Yeah, it just seems like that. But my understanding is, I mean, there's no way to shuffle these cards. There should be a way to shuffle them. You can draw multiple cards or you can draw specific cards. Oh no, I'm sorry. Oh, it's down here. Yeah, there's no way to shuffle the deck. You can only draw cards. And I don't think you can pull the whole deck out of here and shuffle it. No, that would be a I mean, if we edited the mod, we could see this should say for shuffle, it should have the option it shuffles always. Like when I close this and I open it up again, it should be shuffled again. Maybe I should have just done that half a dozen times before I pulled the map. This is what it is, though. Okay, boys, here's the map. This is what we got ahead of us. We got a couple farms. I mean, it does make sense. Farm, hedgerow. Farm, farm field. There's another farm with another farm field. But then right behind it, gullies. And then up on the hills here. It'd be interesting. If I do this, I can do this. Let's go here. I can grab all these cards. And then I can go here. I can pull this out this way and pull these over this way a little bit. Let me pull them down a little bit, maybe one more. Pull them down one card like this. And then over a little bit this way. Just a little bit. So that should leave about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 cards that way. And then we need to put down our PC markers. Oh, I'm over here. I'm in the wrong screen again. Right. I think when you draw it, it just randomizes the card that you get. Right. You're supposed to get a random card, like a random three hills in a row. No, actually, I drew the two hills and then the orchard, and then I drew another hill and the open fields. And then, but here I drew three gullies in a row. I'm like, wait, what? It just doesn't seem random to me, you know? It doesn't seem random, but I guess maybe that's the randomness of it. I mean, rolling snake eyes five times in a row doesn't seem random either, but it is. It is. Um, so yeah, over here we've got C, A, and B. So we're gonna put C. When I do this, I like having these down in the corner. I like having them down in the corner. I'll have to look at the German uh, events and see if they have the events where all of the C's and B's turn into A's. Potential contact. These are B's up here. Man, brutal. Okay, so now we have the other markers. Let's see, casualty collection. We're going to put one of those down. Attack point. We're going to use one of those. Left boundary, yes. Right boundary, yes. Probably over here somewhere. Limit of advance, yes. That's going to be up here somewhere. Line of departure. Yep. Primary objective, yes. Secondary, yes. Let's see. Okay, let's go back out a little bit. Casualty collection point. Probably this farm. That'd be a good one. A good spot for it. Preliminary spot. Let's put this right in the middle here. This right in the middle over here. Line of advance. A line of departure. Limit of advance right there. Line of departure down here. Attack point. Nope. Secure the primary, second chance, clear rows 1 and 2. Okay. I don't have to clear all of the potential contacts out of row 3. Line of departure, limit advance, left boundary. Place the primary and secondary objectives on cards of your choice on row 3. Place the attack position on row 2 adjacent to either the primary or secondary objective. I don't want to put a primary objective there. I want to put it in defensible terrain. The hill's going to be hard to take. The hill's going to be hard to take because look, I'm pretty sure this second level hill is going to be able to fire here and here if we get a package up here. Why did I pull a C for there? I don't know. Spoofing myself. B, 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 A, 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 C, 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 C. C, 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 C. Let's see. I think I want to avoid this. I'm not going to come straight up through here, even though there's a nice farm here. I probably want to go, I probably want to come up this side. Probably want to come up on the left. Maybe take the first objective here. I don't know why an objective would be in the marsh. We're going to, our attack point's going to be from the, it's going to be out of line of sight of that hill. Now it would make sense to take the hill because that's like, and it's not like I've got to climb up the hill. It's just like in order to move up the hill, it's just one order. And I could almost see them at some point saying, we're going to change it so that if you are going up a 2-level hill, it costs 2 orders. Because terrain, and maybe it's because this is a company based kind of. It's still a squad based because your lowest level of your lowest level unit, your unit of maneuver and fire are the squads, just like in squad leader. And in squad leader, there's terrain costs. Like you might get like 6 movement points in a turn, and like woods cost 2, open terrain costs 1. If you stay along a road, you get like an extra movement. But here, it's still squad is your basic level of fire and maneuver. But to go from this gully, which technically you could look at as if basic level in the game is +1, you could look at this one as being 0 and this one being as 3. It still costs only 1 order to move from here to here. So, yeah, this would be 1 and then 2 and then 3. I mean, I could always. Now, again, I don't know why we'd want to have an open field be our primary objective, but um, our collection point's going to be over here for casualties. I don't want it to be in line of sight of this orchard if we can't get any casualties to begin with. Okay, where's my second level hill? This is going to be a challenge to do this. If I cover that, I'm not going to be able to do it. Let's do this. And do it backwards. So do this one and then this one. Okay. What else do we need? Line of departure, limit of advance, left boundary, right boundary, place of primary, secondary objectives, place attack position next to either CAB, deliberate defense line, historical enemy of the 352nd Division, 90th Brigade, use the 4 Grenadier squads. So that's what I need to do is I need to start up a I'm going to come over here. I'm going to minimize this. I need to go back over this way. I need to go control window D. I need to go into a new. You can almost do an Excel worksheet, huh? You know what I don't have on this computer yet? Don't have Open Office on here yet, I don't think. I've meant to get it. Open Office on here. I don't. Well, can I get Open Office real quick? Let's do. Need to go up here and look for Open Office. Open Office is a it's an open source, I think. I don't know if Oracle does it or Apache or one of those. Apache, Open Office, official site, free and open. Let's go this one. We're going to download it. The free and open productivity suite. And how do I get it? Download 4.1.15. Windows 64-bit. They don't have a 64-bit for Windows. More platforms, operating systems. 4.1.5. Let's just use a 32-bit then. Download full installation. Yeah, I wonder why they don't have it in their list here of 64-bit. Important hints for Windows 32-bit. Your download will start shortly. 2.1. There it goes. We're going to go to here and find it. In our downloads folder, we're going to install it. You want to allow this to make changes? Yes. Thank you for downloading Open Office. Desktop. Do I really want it unpacked and saved in the folder shown below? Installation files will be saved to my desktop, I guess. Welcome to the wizard. Setup type, typical. Do a start link on your thing. Click finish to exit the wizard. Let's go to back here because the important hints for Windows 32-bit. Important hints for chosen platform. At the moment, we offer a 32-bit version for Windows. However, it installs and runs also on Windows 64-bit. Please note that you may need Java and 32-bit for additional functionality, which must then be selected only once. See Tools. Let me go ahead and bookmark this on the bookmarks bar and close this, minimize this, double click this. Setup of open office, welcome. Let's do a spreadsheet. Alrighty then. Let's minimize this for now. Let's bring back up Adobe. Let's go over here. And this looks like it's been kind of degraded. And what did I have over here? Oh yeah, I had Twitch chat. Yeah, okay. All right, so where are we? Are we in Vassal or are we in I'm gonna close Steam. I don't need that open. Steam open still. Okay. Exit Steam. Open Office is open. Those are open. That's open. Boom. Four Grenadier squads marked GP 1 through 4. Draw one at random each time a squad is placed. Refer to the breakdown chart. Okay, so up here it says for the German squads, it says where did it say that? This is like the information thing. Sorry, there's so much going through here. I guess really what I should do is I should put all this stuff into my spreadsheet. I'll put it in there as, like, for example, if I have a squad that is in combat and they lose a step, then I'll go ahead and note it in my spreadsheet because the game doesn't do that. It'll do it in the it'll do it over here in the let me go back here. It'll do it in the it'll do it here, but it won't do it like over here. You've got fire missions remaining. You could probably use this to track other stuff. You've got experience tracker over here, but there's nothing really that there's nothing really in here that lets you track like how squads are breaking down, like combat turn 3, first platoon, squad 1, one step broke down into a litter team. Now the thing is with those, I think the rules say that once a step breaks down into like an assault team, fire team, litter team, paralyzed, those steps are no longer associated with that squad. So you could actually use those steps to reconstitute another squad if you needed to. I'm pretty sure that's what that reconstitution and actually you wouldn't reconstitute a squad in the mission. It's called supplementing. So you would supplement the squad with another fire team. But especially like where it comes to like the German here, these guys, these are the ones that we're going to be using. I want to keep track of those and keep track of the steps that they lost because once these are all eliminated, I think that that's it. That's it says in here also to respect the counter mix. It says down here as far as German packages go, we want to enemy packages are limited by the counter mix. Limited by the counter mix. So once those 4 squads are done, I can no longer put down a package that requires a squad because I don't have any squads to put down. They've all been eliminated. I think the idea of enemy packages are limited by this counter mix is that you can't have like 50 light machine guns out there, you know. I mean, potentially. So there's 12 cards on there and they each have a potential contact marker. So like this one right here, say for example, this pillbox number 8, heavy machine gun with 8 ammo in a pillbox. Number 8 could come up only on a 7 of 10 on a PCA marker. Okay. So they do try to limit potentially getting too many counters out there. But like I said, the last, when I was doing the Keep Up the Fire mission, the first, and again, this will help me track to kind of see what the what's happening in the game. But like the first 7 turns, I got either I think I got 1 machine gun nest, I got 3 artillery observers, and I got 3 roaming squads, and that was it. I only So it's not like I'm not getting like 7 different packages. Now you can see here the PCA, um, there's a potential to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different packages on the C counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the B counters, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the A counters. So here, there's 5 potentially different packages you can get. Over here, there's 6 different packages. Over here, there's 7 different packages. But like I'm saying, on 7 turns, there was 9 packages in that scenario. Keep Up the Fire. In the first 7 turns, I got 3 different packages. I didn't get like 6 different packages. I just got 3. I got so basically what I'm saying is I got the same packages multiple times, like maybe 3 times in a row. I got the same package. Didn't matter what it didn't matter what counter it was on or what kind of counter. I was still getting the same packages. So, um, mission special rules counterattack. When the counterattack event is drawn, immediately place PC markers randomly selected from all those remaining on their chit side on every card except by a US unit. When a counterattack event, that would be up here, right? Turns 2 to 10. We could get a counterattack. And then what happens? Randomly, immediately place PC markers randomly selected from all those remaining on their question mark side on every card occupied by a U.S. unit. That's interesting. Wow. Change enemy tactics to offensive assault for 3 turns, including this turn. Place the counterattack ends marker on the turn track 3 turns ahead of the turn marker. Okay. Three turns, including this turn. So if we're on turn 4, it'd be turn 4, turn 5, and turn 6. Place the counterattack ends, so it'd be on turn 7. Right? The sequence of play does not change. Resolve any PCA markers using the counterattack chart in place of the regular PCA chart. Interesting. That's interesting. That's a twist. That's getting thrown a curveball. Okay. Good to know. Reading the advanced field manual to look at vehicle stuff had a good section breaking down experience in reconstituting squads. Yeah, I mean, those field manuals, I think those field manuals contain, like I said, they contain and are focused on the 10% of the rules that you use 90% of the time, which is what I need. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, we can just pull these out and start plug them into the. I'll do that off stream though. Start plugging them into the spreadsheet. Let's see, any messages? What time is it again? 12:41. Haven't taken a break. This chair is actually pretty comfortable. This chair is actually pretty comfortable. I don't know if I need this though. I don't think I need that if I'm using this flat one here. Just use this. This mouse pad though is it's slanted. It's round and slanted, so you can see how it's slanted. So your mouse can start here and move up the pad, and then you can have a wrist rest here. So I have it like this. But when the mouse is up at the top, it can slide down. It just goes like this. So you're like, there goes my mouse. But it's comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I gotta mark the ammo. So this is really tricky. Where you want your like mortars to be and stuff, because you've only got 4 ammo. You got like 4 turns worth. And when they move into when these mortar teams move into line of sight, they start firing. So, I mean, I guess if there's a commander there, the commander could use a command to stop firing. But Well, let's set up um, let's go ahead and set up the let's set up the command display with so marker pieces. Nope. Assets. So what do we have available? The company HQ gets the battalion tack and the company tack. So the SCR 300, SCR 536. We can put these out here. Each one gets these. The artillery gets this one, I'm sure. Is there an artillery? There should be. You get a Jeep. It'd be nice if they put all these things out here, like. It's the mission. All right, okay, let's see. Let's go. We do not have artillery. Your starting company for the campaign. We do not have attached artillery. Okay. These are the assets, which I need to use more of because I don't remember to use those, like smoke and stuff. I need to use those. And like last night, I remember to not to use a grenade against a unit in the same hex as I am when I am exposed. Okay, we do have an artillery officer, and he gets the SCR 610 RDFD net radio. No, he gets the 610. Vehicle mounted radio? It doesn't say. I have to look at the picture now. I think it's this one. RC SCR 610 radio. SCR 610 RDFD net radio. That one right there. That's the one I was looking at. So that's the one we're going to take. Delete. They don't have a spot on here for I guess he can, if he gets attached, we can throw him over here. If he gets attached to one of these. Now go back over here. Go back up here to our table of organization and equipment. He gets the SCR 300 battalion tack and SCR 536 company tack. So he gets this one. He gets this one. I don't know. So what do you think, Shroom? Do you think what do you think be better, phones or radios? I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. I mean, because you only get 4 phone lines. Pretty sure. If you use the phones. Oh, in fact, it doesn't even give you that. I think it gives you the option up here to use the phone lines if you want to. But down here, it just says you're using the radios. But I thought it gave you the option. Radios making up the company TAC network may be replaced by EE8 field phones in each offensive mission. Is this an offensive mission? Oh, man. It must be because they're doing deliberate defense. Yeah, it's offensive. So you can replace those with the phones. 4 phone lines are provided as assets in each mission if phones are used. And then I think it works out too that anybody with a phone also acts as a phone line. So you could have like 4 phone lines and then a platoon commander with a phone, and that would extend it out to like 5 phone lines. Or you could have like 2 phone lines, a platoon commander with a phone, and 2 phone lines in front of the platoon commander, and that would be an extension. The platoon commander would count as a phone line. Four phone lines are provided as assets in each mission if phones are used. Oh, so only if phones are used. So in this mission, it's only the radios. It tells you right here, this is what you get. That's what you get. Okay. The XO gets a 536. The first sergeant doesn't get a radio because he's a veteran. He doesn't need to take orders from anybody. So how do you get him his orders? He's got to be he's got to be on the same card with the company HQ at the beginning of the game, or he's got to stay with the company HQ in order to get orders. Interesting. Okay. So these guys all get the TAC radios, the 536 TAC radios. So we're going to jump back over here and we're going to give them all the 536 TAC radios. That's the XO gets one of those. First platoon gets one of those. One of those. One of those. And the mortar company gets one. So the XO, each platoon leader, and the mortar section. XO, the mortar section, each platoon leader. Okay. I wonder if there's ammo counters. We do have a heavy machine gun team. So 4 ammo, 4 ammo. The anti-tank platoon gets rocket ammo. So let's see if there's counters for that. So the two LMGs and the, let's see about the heavy machine gun. There's no heavy machine gun platoon. So this is where we would count ammo. I think we can count ammo over here. So we have artillery. We have artillery. We're just going to have how many missions? 4. 4 of HE, 1 of white phosphorus. He's on the SCR 610 RD FD net radio. So he gets 4 15th. Let me go see if I can copy this. Let's see if I can copy it from there. Put it over here. Highlight this. Press enter to modify. Put that in there. And go there. Gotta shorten it. Gotta shorten it. Battalion is BTN. Missions. What did I put in here before? Modifier. -5. He's got 4. He's got 4 left. He draws 2 cards. The CO can draw 1 card. Fire missions 4. -5, -4 on the white phosphorus. So 2 cards and 1 card. So maybe I'll try to stick that in. I need to try to put this into a different window. Let me try to get this into a different window so I can look at this while I'm looking at this. Let me try this. Now, can I still... Yeah, see, I'm not gonna... See, am I still gonna be able to pick up that window just barely? So we've got 4 HE. And I'm just going to have to look on here to see how many cards they can draw. This is going to be the same as this. I'm just going to copy this down here. This one's going to be white phosphorus. White phosphorus is a -4. And he's got one mission of that. Got one mission. Oop. He's got 4 of HE and 1 of white phosphorus. Okay. So now let's look at did I get him his radio? Did I get him his radio? I did. Okay. Okay. We have to decide if we want the 60mm mortar section or the these guys. They begin the mission with more ammunition they can transport, so other units will need to be utilized to transport ammo if the mortar teams move. That sounds kind of the HVOF rated mortar section utilizes abstracted ammo bearers. Bears? Ammo bearers? Um, there's only one woods card on the map. There's only one woods card on the map. Um, if teams are chosen, the section radio phone can be reassigned to any other company, unit, or attachment freely. F or A hit results in the mortar section on break jam. Each mortar team receives the same amount of mortar ammo as the section carried. Because mortars can't fire in out of they can't fire out of pillbox, buildings, woods. If the artillery field officer jeep is not used in the mission, the RDFO may transport the man pack around the map normally. Okay. If the jeep is selected, the SCR 610 radio cannot be used as a transportable man pack until the next mission. In some missions, the option to mount the RDFD-10 net on the Jeep may be available. Does it say that in our mission deal thing here, thing deal? Oh, I don't see. It says that we have a Jeep, but it doesn't. I don't think it says that we're supposed to use it with the. It's part of our assets. Oh, this is an M250 caliber H heavy machine gun team. Okay. So I think I'm going to go back to here. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that, but I want to go back here. I want to note I better, here we go. I don't have the spreadsheet there. I wonder if I can note in the, I wonder if I can note in the fire missions remaining, if I can track ammo there. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't be able to, right? It's kind of like mortar section gets the TAC radio. Did I give a TAC radio to the mortar section? Let's see if I gave a TAC radio to the mortar section. But the B do 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 do. I did. Okay. So let's use the 60 millimeter mortar, and we're going to track his fire missions remaining down here. This is the 60 millimeter mortar section. 60 millimeter mortar section. 4 mortar ammo. He gets so it's interesting. So if you have the mortar, if you use the you break up the mortar section, the three-step one, into individual steps, it looks like they get more ammo. They do, because that thing just said in the it said they get more ammo than they can carry. So when they move, some ammo's left behind. But they get 12. They're both 60 millimeter. They get 12 as opposed to the three-step section gets only 4. And then the one-step sections get 4 each. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. Oh, I went too far on this one. I went a step too far. So do I do shift enter to go back? No. Do I right click to go back? Decrease. No, increase. T. Okay. They get 4. This is the 60 millimeter mortar section 3-step. I should put that in there. Three-step mortar. We have a 50 caliber machine gun. Heavy machine gun. This one gets, it's a team. This one gets 4 ammo. The light machine guns get 4 ammo. 1 LMG. Maybe I can put on here mission. Their line. This one's going to be line. These guys are all line. He gets 4 ammo. second LMG. Dope. 2 LMG. He gets 4 ammo. Um, 1 anti-tank. He gets 3 rockets. Mission is rocket. Two anti-tank. He is also a rocket. And he gets 3. Third anti-tank. Third AT. Nope. Third AT. He is a rocket mission. Nope. A rocket. And he gets 3. So we're going to go here, back to the command display. We're going to go here. And we need to get out the bazookas. Let's go here. We're going to get our weapons stacks. Oh, I've already got all the radios and stuff here. I already pulled them all out of the thing. Well, let's do this. Let's delete that one. Control D. And just take them off the... Realize that, yeah, we already got all this stuff way over here. Sir. We're going to take this guy and put him over here. He's the mortar guy. Let's just do this also with our other guys here. I just put them on here, and then I can put them on the map. Let's see, HQ. Company HQ goes here. XO goes here. First Sergeant goes here. Artillery guy goes down here for now. We'll just put him with the company HQ. We don't have any runners. We do have a 50 cal and a Jeep. This is going to be a team. We have a Jeep, I guess, if we need it. And apparently we don't start the game with any runners. So we're going to restack this. Grab this, put it over here. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is who? First platoon. I didn't do this before, but I kind of like this where you can just set these out here instead of just kind of laying them all out on the in the staging area. Now it says that you can, if you want, you can have your soldiers on the map actually carry the assets. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Is this third? Okay, this is third. like your rocket launcher and your smoke and stuff. I mean, it may help in that it kind of puts it right out in front of you. You can see what your guys have. But on the other hand, it'd be nice if you could actually attach the it'd be nice if you could attach. Where am I? Where is my mouse? I can come over here. Minimize this for a second. Um, where are we? Oh, we got to go over here. I'm sorry. It would be nice if you could attach, like, um, you can stack stuff together, but it'd be nice if you could just say, okay, I want to attach this counter to this counter so that they're always together until I unattach them, type of thing. You can stack things together, but then as soon as you start moving stuff around, it's going to get kind of a tangled mess. Unless, like I said, unless you could attach things to each other. Okay, here's my assets here. What's this? This is a rifle grenade. Get a rifle grenade here. One here. Oop, no. Each squad gets one. Or each platoon gets one. And then we got our smoke and white phosphorus. We got our machine gun teams, the bazookas. We got our radios. There's battalion that goes to the HQ. He gets a, there's the arty one down here. The arty guy gets this. He gets a, I think he gets a radio. The platoon, each of the platoons gets a radio. The first sergeant doesn't get a radio. The mortar guy gets a radio. Let's go back in over here and see what he gets. Attack radios are that's going to be the marker pieces, the assets. That's just this one here, right? That's battalion. This is company. Okay. I thought it actually looked different, but I guess not. So he gets this one. So he gets the battalion tack and the company tack. XO gets a company tack. The mortar section gets a company tack. And then the three platoons get company tacks. Well, you know what I want to do while we're at it down here is I want to change these guys to they are green. It is not going to be good for us. Control E. Green, green. Company corporal is green, green. He's veteran. He's veteran. I just want to mark these because otherwise I'm going to forget. It's just going to be easier seeing them on the counter and be reminded, oh yeah, these guys are line, this guy's green, that kind of thing. Okay, the mortar section, they are line. The heavy caliber, the machine gun, 50 caliber heavy machine gun, he's line. Um, bazooka teams are line, machine gun teams are line. So these guys, line, 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 line. And the smoke. The smoke is all line, and the pyrotechnics are all line. Um, so I'm not sure what to do with a Jeep unless it's done to carry around. I guess you can attach this to the Jeep, and then the Jeep could be used in combat, I guess. Even though it says here it's doesn't have an inherent combat value. I guess if you put a machine gun on it, it would have an H value. I don't know. I'll have to look in the rules for that. See, these guys are all done. These guys are done, 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 done. Oh, the artillery officer, does it say what he is? I think he's line. Yeah, he's line. EE. Okay. I'm going to save this over here. Oh, yeah, here we go. The artillery officer is line. So I'm going to save this file. Save game as. This is going to be Field of Fire. What time is it? I got about a half an hour. Fields of Fire. This is the Normandy campaign. Mission 1. Setup. So that's where we are so far. We've got all these. We got runners if we need them. We've got the mortar steps if we need those. We've got pyrotechnics to decide. We have to decide about our pyrotechnics here. And then we probably need to go back up here and start looking at more of the mission itself. All right, let's go back to this. We got the radios distributed. Oh, we need to finish up on the I think we need to finish up over here. We got the artillery battalion for white phosphorus. We've got this mortar. We've got the 50 cal machine gun. Got 4 ammo. The other machine guns have 4 ammo. The anti-tanks have 3 rockets. And then that's it. Looks like as far as that goes. Yeah, okay. And then these have to be marked off after every, at the end of every combat, we mark these off. So I think that's done there. Now, see, this is not, though, going to keep track of like experience. There's an experience tracker here, but I don't think it's going to keep track of like when units break down and, stuff like that. that I want to keep track of. So, like I said, there's 4 German squads in the counter mix. If I, like what happened last night, if I've already like later in the, like turn 7, turn 8, if I've already destroyed 3 of those squads, and there's a package that calls for 2 squads, and I only have 1 left to put out there, then I can't use that package. I have to draw for another package because it says, again, I know I kind of harp on this. It says to not, or it says to respect the counter mix. Don't like keep pulling squads out of there, even though you've used all 4 of them. When the scenario or the mission says there's 4 German squads, don't keep pulling squads out like the 5th one, the 6th one, the 7th one, because that will kind of skew the scenario design, the mission design, because the mission's designed just for you to have a limited number of packages and stuff. You're not supposed to have like, you know, 2 rows deep of light machine guns. That's not how the game is designed. I think there's 5 light machine guns amongst the Germans here. Um, there's 5 light machine guns. So if you destroy 3 light machine guns, and then there's 2 more out on the board, and there's a package that calls for another one to be placed, then you can't put it down. You've already gone through all 5 of your machine guns. So I think probably it's just going to be I've got to set up my pyrotechnics still. Um, and I think what I need to do is I need to decide what how do I want to set up the pyrotechnics. How do I want to set them up? And then the light machine guns, etc. I still do think that I want the advance to be up here and then flanking here because of this open fields and this hill. I kind of want to get, I mean, because if there's a heavy machine gun up here, the line of sight for the heavy machine gun is going to go out here. Let me be right back. Let me try something here. I've got it's not working. Maybe it's over here. It's supposed to be a there it is. Okay. So let me try this. Nope, not that one. Let me try this. Go back over here first. To this one. And then let me go back over here. Oop. Let me see if I go back to here. This is a mouse pointer. That's my mouse pointer. All right. So actually, we're going to go here. We're going to come up here. We've got this one. So let's do that too when we get a chance. I think I want to start here. And I want to come this way and from here this way. Because if you look at the, if there's a heavy machine gun here, he's going to have a line of sight this way, and this way. It's going to be really bad. I may even start here. I might just start from this farm and kind of work my way out. Have first platoon come out this way, and then second platoon come out this way, and then third platoon come up behind them. And then when they get here or here, when they get here, they get fire down here. When they get here, they can move up into these woods. So it's kind of like the woods and the gully draw. And then take this objective here. I want us to, there is more cover on this side, technically. We could get a multi-story building here, which would help. So we should probably try to get that. It would help against this hill. Because we'd be able to see over this gully to shoot at this hill. We can see it anyways. We can see right through here because of the two. But if we could get like a strong building here, that would be really helpful. On these cards here, there is no line of sight like from here to here. This would be a safe. This would be a safe hex here because there's no line of sight between these two. Oh, there is line of sight because this is on a third level hill. So this hill has line of sight here. It has line of sight here. It has line of sight down here. It's line of sight everywhere. And line of sight over here to this farm. That's going to be trouble to try to take that. That's going to be a big load of trouble. Let's go back into our command display. I think first platoon's going to be it'll be my green guys. And then whoever gets attached to first platoon, which is probably going to be which is probably going to be a machine gun team. First machine gun. Probably second machine gun over here. The second platoon will be red. They'll be blue. My command will be purple, like last time. So blue. Oh, you only had to hit two there. One, just one. One. And then third platoon will be red. They're kind of like an emergency, like, get up here quick. think if we can get a multi-story building here in this hex, it'd be a great spot for either our machine gun or our forward observer. Even though we'd have to keep, depending on what turns up in here, which we're not going to find out till what, turn 4 or 5, 6, what's in here. We might have to keep a officer down here so that we can move the forward observer up and down out of the steeple so that they don't come under fire. Because there is an event. I don't know if it's in this scenario, but there is an event where there's no artillery available on that turn. So if there's no artillery available, he's up in the second floor of the church observation post, and is getting shot at from, I mean, they're still going to get shot at here. This is going to be really rough right through here. It's going to be really rough. Be interesting. I probably want to try to take this and secure it as soon as possible. If we can't get like a strong building here, then we probably should just abandon the farmhouse. Probably same up here. So I have to clear both of these rows of potential contacts, and then just take the objectives up here. I don't have to clear this one. I don't have to clear this one. I'm wondering still if I should take that, mark that double hill as an objective. You would think that, yeah, that's what happens, right? Because you're going for the high ground. You want the high ground. And that would almost be the first objective, is we want to take that hill. We want to deny the enemy that hill. So that's our number one objective. We don't want to be in line of sight, this hill right here, but we don't want to have like another hill up here with maybe a building on it, which could become a strong point, and have them firing, maybe a second level hill, have them firing over into here. Boy, I tell you, it's going to be rough. Let's see, command display. Assets. Who do I want to put I think I want to maybe attach the to 3rd platoon, and 3rd platoon can start here. Again, it's all going to depend on these A markers and what gets put up, because normally what happens is you've got you've got your when you're drawing your enemy packages and you're placing them, unit placement is either going to be directly in front of you, the left front, or the right front. So when we are drawing these A packages, they are going to wind up in this row up here. The packages from row 1 are going to be drawn and put in row 2. Now it's going to be, unless there's line of sight. So for example, say that we're in this hedgerow, we resolve this potential contact, and they say it's right in front of you. And it's a light machine gun at max range. Well, from here, you've got line of sight through this gully draw into this woods here. So the light machine gun would be put down in this woods, because light machine gun has a long range, and which is 2 cards. Where's some of the other line of sights, like here to the farm? If it's long range, it would be put up on this hill. Gosh, this hill is just commanding this whole area. That's why they want to take it. That's why the Germans, or that's why us Americans want to take it, because it's commanding this whole valley or whatever. It's got line of sight to this farm, to this farm. It's just, yeah, it's just the perfect spot. So hopefully nothing gets put. So basically, how this works too is packages are placed depending on what row the contact marker is in. You can see now see right here, there is no row designation. It's just either in front of, to the left, or to the right. So for example, I don't have that open. Probably open it. Let me open it. Here. This is the training scenario that I did. Got through 10 turns, cleared everything out, cleared out the whole map, except for this. This was one of my, actually, I think this is my first objective right here. Now, I did, on the last turn, I did mess up some combat. I didn't take into account that all of my units were exposed. And so I didn't take that into account. And so I drew on a combat modifier that was too higher than what it should have been. So the results, actually, the results would have been disastrous. And that was only, and those draws were only on, I had low draws on all of them, but it was only on a -1. There was a -1 VOF marker for a missed grenade. And that's the only reason I had to draw. So what happened was, is I moved my guys in here to try to thwart what was going to be a PCA resolution down here, because I thought, well, at least if it gets sent into this, if it gets drawn into this card here, I've got my guys in there and I can deal with it. But they were all marked exposed, and I tried to, it was what wound up, the package that came in here was a heavy machine gun and a bunker that was shooting down here. Bunkers only can shoot in the direction that they're facing. So my guys weren't in any danger from the bunker. The It was in a farm, so it was a +2. And what I did is I shot a grenade at the bunker and it missed. And so I had a -1 VOF on the card. And that's the only reason I had to draw on that card. So I had a -1 +2, but I didn't take into account that all of them were exposed. So probably I had the whole platoon in there. The whole platoon probably would have been wiped out. So lesson learned, don't take a shot with a grenade or white phosphorus or anything like that in the same hex where you have troops that are exposed. Sounds like common sense, but it was late last night. I was tired. I'd been up for like 17, 18 hours. But what I wanted to look at was the enemy packages. over here. Yeah, see contact. It has contact packages. This was going to keep up the fire, the scenario that I was talking to you about. It's got the type of contact, German contact packages. Um, and then it has contact location, but the contact location was based on the column that the contact was in. So, like over here, um, this would have been, column one, column two, column three, column four. That's how this scenario, this mission resolved their contacts and where they were located. So, like for example, if you were in column three over here, if the contact was like right here, we're resolving this contact right here in column three, then you would pull a random card, a random number, one, two, or three, and it would, land left front, direct front, right front, depending on what column you're in. But over here, this mission, it doesn't have that. It just says draw a random um, number from 1 to 8. So you draw an 8, and then you look at the number under the 8 to determine if it's front, left, or front, left, front, right, front. And it doesn't have anything to do with what column it's in. So um, that's different. That is different. So we got all the units marked as far as if they're line, if they're. So really, all I need to do next is I need to develop that spreadsheet for all of for my order of battle, and then I can add the Germans' order of battle in as they get drawn. And then I need to place the pyrotechnics, the smoke. So I get 4 smoke and 4 white phosphorus. And then the thing is for me is I need to remember to use them because I don't remember to use them. First platoon, third squad is going to get a smoke. So I'm going to put smoke on all of the third squads. And then maybe on the XO. I just wonder how we're going to communicate with the company, the sergeant. So we'd be able to communicate from here to here. So you have line of sight as long as units aren't in, as long as they're not in cover, which usually you want your units in cover. As long as they're not in cover, they are in visual verbal range. This is the series rules, third edition, 92 pages. And I think there's actually a section on visual verbal. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what I've not been doing? I've not been doing a very good job of it. Keeping track of chat. I've got these. I think I'm just going to open this up again over on this screen. I'll just have to hop back and forth. Because it just gets too like too hard to do this. Let's go back over here. Let's try to hop in between these two screens. Okay. close that. I can close. I want to have that open. I don't think I'm going to have this open. I don't need. I'll have my Stream Deck open. I will keep the calculator open. Okay. Do 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 do. Commands, actions, communications, pyrotechnics, communication 27. 27. You know, when I need to scroll all the way back to the top, I just need to come down here and do 1 instead of, because when I scroll, it's like flashing, you know, these screens and stuff. I need to stop doing that because it even bothers me a little bit. I can see somebody who's watching, and they see these pages flying by, and I would turn away. I'd be like, okay. I mean, a little bit like this, I think is okay, but when pages are just flying by, that would bother me. Okay, 27, communication. To order a unit to perform an action, the originator, the ordering HQ or staff, must be able to communicate with the recipient unit. Visual verbal. This is the best method of communication and includes talking, shouting, screaming, yelling, and hand and arm signals. In order to be in visual verbal communication, both units must be unpinned and both must be in the same area of a card. Oh, they have to be in a card. Ooh. For example, both are under the same cover marker. Both are in the out of cover area. Both are in the same building area of an urban terrain card. I'm thinking, just trying to think, how am I going to communicate with the company sergeant or the first sergeant? Pinned units can give a visual verbal attempt to remove pin marker order. Their pin status is ignored in this case. So it says they have to be unpinned and in the same area of a card, under the same cover marker, out from under a cover marker, or in the same building area of an urban terrain card. So I guess if they're in the same building, even though it's on a first floor, second floor kind of thing, then that would be in visual verbal. Note, when ceasefire and shift fire orders are given to a unit, the order will be passed on to all occupants of a card, including pinned units, regardless of whether they are in visual verbal or not. I'll be right back in just a second. Jump over here to my music screen. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to get going here in a few minutes. It's almost 2. But we'll try to finish this up on visual, verbal, and networks and all that stuff, because that's going to be key. Runners allow the COHQ to activate its subordinate HQs and staff on the following turn if the runner is not hit or pinned in the intervening combat phase. Well, Okay. Runners do not begin on the map. Place them in the company HQ assets box on the command display. I don't think I don't think we start. Oops, sorry, guys. I don't think we start with runners. I think it says specifically that you don't start with runners. We don't have access to engineers. Maybe unit squads can be upgraded to engineer squads at some point. I got to remember that we have that Jeep. I think we put the Jeep on the command display. No, I think it says you have access to runners, but you don't have them at the start because here is your starting company. You have to create them as you go. So I think what the way you would create them is you would have a platoon HQ, or probably better yet, you'd have an higher HQ like a company headquarters. Create a runner, and then run out to the company first sergeant and activate him. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Just interesting that they don't get a radio. I mean, I guess you could always have your first sergeant um, with one of your platoons. That'd probably be the best thing, huh? And then he would be considered in communication, um, because the platoon has a radio. So then he would be able to be activated. So like you put your company first sergeant with your first platoon. I guess it may be a bad idea if this is the point platoon. They're taking the point. Then you might want to have two leaders in case one of the leaders gets injured or something. Then the sergeant can issue orders and vice versa. So I think in the spreadsheet that I do, I'm going to put all of these guys down there. I'm going to put everything down there and keep track of everything through that spreadsheet when steps are lost and stuff like that. And also, as I said, when the German packages are drawn, um, do that for the German packages. We've got all these set up with their ammo. Now, here's the thing. If I broke these up, I could use this TAC radio. I could give it to the first sergeant. But again, they would have to be in line of sight in order to fire. I had these guys last time. I had the individual ones, and because you already have the so I guess if you have the mortar section, would you have a mortar spotter? It doesn't say you have a mortar spotter. You don't have an off-board mortar spotter. You only have an off-board um, artillery spotter. That's in the special rules down here. You don't have a mortar spotter. So I think actually I might break them up then. Page 3. I might break them up. What page should I be on? Page 10? Page 11, page 12. Here we go. There is my phone. I think I actually might break these up then and give the radio to the first sergeant and put each of these, assign each of these to a platoon. So let's go over there and see. So I'm going to give the radio to the first sergeant. I'm not going to use him. I think what I'll do is I'll throw him back over here. I think it said that they were line. So I will assign them to a platoon. Where'd this guy go? Did I grab him accidentally? I did. I must have because I wanted to put this guy up here. Yeah, I grabbed him by mistake. No, I want you to come over here. Thank you. Bum, 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 bum. And then what did I do with the other guy? This guy. What? Oh, there he is. Okay. So there's first mortar. First mortar will come over here. It will be green. Second mortar will come over here and be blue. Third mortar will come over here and be red. I'm not sure I want to give the next smoke to. I think we'll give it to the first sergeant. White phosphorus. Each of the squads is going to get a white phosphorus. I'll get this more organized when we get them out on the. And then I think a white phosphorus maybe for the EXO. Bazooka teams first is going to go with the first. That'll be blue, green. They'll all be attached. Second will be blue. Oop. And third will be red. And then we need the pyrotechnics. I'm gonna have to look and see how these are set up because we don't have any room up here anymore. I might just bring these guys out here for now. First, third, second, first. Okay. Bazooka. Mortar. Machine gun. So we'll just put him here for now. We'll put him here for now. And then the same with these guys here. Do 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 do. Mortar, a machine gun, third. I would like it if you could lock these cards down. I haven't found anything yet in the I mean, not that I've done a real deep dive on it, but I haven't seen anything yet as far as what I've looked. We don't have a machine gun there. White phosphorus, white phosphorus, white phosphorus. That's a little bit better. This heavy machine gun would have to move on the Jeep. Pretty sure. Do we want to do heavy machine gun with the third platoon? We'll keep an eye on that. That's going to do it for me, though. I think I'm just going to save this now, and I'm going to close it. And let's see, we're going to go File, Save Game As, Normandy Campaign Mission 1 Setup. Do you want to replace it? Yes. I should change this to Mission 1, Campaign Mission 1, Attempt 1, or whatever that terminology is that they use. Oh, you know what we got to put out here? We have to put out here. Current activity, no contact. Visibility marker. Light level. So we start out with no contact. And we're going to have the collection point down here. Okay, let's save that because we just made a change to it. Save that. Yes. Okay. That should do it for me. You're writing a log file. Save now. Sure. We're going to close this. Close all tabs. We're going to close the spreadsheet. What did I name it? I need to. Well, I don't need to name it because I haven't put anything in it yet. I don't need to save it even. I haven't put anything in there. There's nothing in there to save. Yeah, that's going to do it for me. Got to get going. Pick up my daughter. It's 2:08. I'm going to do my regular outro. So thanks for watching. Thanks, Room. I hope you have success with your mission. Should you start it? And if you shouldn't, then I hope you have success with whatever you're trying. I hope you have success reading the 92-page manual. How does that sound? Without your brain getting like this, you know, all twisted up. Like, what? All right, I'm gonna head out. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate Shroom. I appreciate all the VOD watchers. If there's any of the 92 VOD watchers that watched one of my earlier streams in this series of Fields of Fire, if there are any of the 92 videos on demand watchers who viewed it, I'd be interested in hearing from you of what you thought, and just interested in hearing why 92 people, which would be the most that's ever watched a VOD of mine, why what drew you into the channel and stuff like that. I guess, I mean, I can look, I guess, on the report from Twitch for that day, but it's just interesting. So anyways, enough talking by me. I gotta get a clipboard for that. Maybe we'll stop at the store on the way home so I can get a clipboard. Anyways, thanks for watching. Shroom, have a great day. Hope to see you again next time when we do some more Fields of Fire. Wherever you are in the wide world, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, put yourself in a position to be blessed and be blessed. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.